Some know me as the Cream King, but after today, you just might start calling me the Dough Daddy. Because today, in the Anabolic laboratory, we will be making a peanut butter cookie dough that is just as good as my original cookie dough, aka better than store-bought, but satisfies that peanut butter taste that everyone desires while on a diet. My name is Nick, I have my master's in exercise physiology, and I make anabolic recipes and review anything in the fitness industry. So if you're into that kind of thing, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're ready to get smooth and creamy, then let's get into it. We will start out with our dry ingredients first, and we are going to start out with 80 grams of flour. Now you can heat treat this flour and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time until it reaches 160 degrees. But since the chances are so slim that anything happens, I'm going to live on the wild side today. And we're just gonna add the rest of our dry ingredients. Next, we will use 40 grams of PB Fit or PB2, whatever you prefer. Of course, we need some protein powder to get our macro ratios right. So we are going to use 2 scoops of bodybuilding whey vanilla. Whey is important and vanilla is important, or you will be getting a totally different taste and texture. I know this is by far the best tasting vanilla whey protein that I've had, so I highly recommend this one. If not, use what you got. If there's one you already like, go ahead and use it. But I just want to make sure that the consistency and the flavor is good. And we're adding 2 scoops of this, so the flavor will come through if your whey protein isn't good. And for me, 2 scoops is 66 grams. Last dry ingredient is our salt, and we will have 1.5 grams that we add to the bowl here. Now we're gonna mix this all together so it's nice and even, so that when we do have to mix the wet and the dry ingredients together, it's all evenly mixed and we don't have to mix those for as long. Dry ingredients are done. Now it's crucially important that you add the wet ingredients exactly how I do it to make sure we get an even consistency and it tastes the correct way. We're going to start with real peanut butter. Natural peanut butter. If you have another peanut butter you like, go ahead and use it. But we will be using 29 grams. We're gonna take this peanut butter and we're going to throw it in the microwave for 20 seconds. We're gonna take some light butter. This has half the calories of real butter, but tastes exactly like real butter. And we're going to take 28 grams and add it to our bowl. Now we're going to heat this up for another about 10 to 15 seconds. It all depends on your microwave, but everything should be melted. Now right away, we're gonna take this and we're gonna mix it all together. If not, the peanut butter is going to get hard again once we add all the other ingredients, and it won't mix that well. This makes it much, much, much easier. Now I'm going to add 2 egg whites into the bowl and 1 full egg. If you don't want to use a full egg, you can use egg whites. If you have your egg beaters, just add an extra 56 grams of egg whites. Again, the egg yolk makes it richer tasting, makes it have that real cookie dough flavor. So if you don't want to use it, it will be a step down. However, I understand if you're trying to save on calories or you want it to be pasteurized or whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna put my 2 egg whites in here first. And of course, don't do what I do. If you're worried about it, ask your doctor. Next, we'll add our Swerve. I also highly recommend you use Swerve or some other erythritol base because it has basically 0 calories. So this is the way to go unless you want to add unwanted calories. We're gonna go with 28 grams of the granular version here, and then 28 grams of the brown sugar version. And all of the stuff that I use will be linked in the description. And if you use any of my links, it helps support the channel and is much, much appreciated. And also doesn't cost you any extra. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Power 13 cookbook, I have 3 recipes in there. You should definitely check that out as well. Our last wet ingredient is a teaspoon of vanilla, or 4.2 grams. If you don't have a point scale, which I highly recommend, just use 4 grams. No big deal. All of our wet ingredients are in, so we are going to mix the wet ingredients up. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. As far as you can tell, there's like a little bit of egg white, there's peanut butter, there's the brown sugar. Really mix it in. Take a minute or two and really give it a good mix, and then we will start adding in the dry ingredients in parts. This is very similar to the first cookie dough. It literally only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get this all together. Super quick and super worth it if you're ever have an urge for that, you know, cookie dough flavor or cookie dough taste. And you better bet we will be using this in an ice cream in the very near future. I don't know if you can see, but it's fully mixed. Everything is together, and this is already pre-mixed as well. And we're going to do 3 to 4 parts. Please remember this. It makes it easier to come together, and all of the ingredients are spread throughout, so you get even flavor throughout every single bite. I'm gonna mix this until it's smooth again. So until there's no chunks in here, I will just keep mixing and scraping the sides, getting that in the middle, because it doesn't really want to take the dry ingredients in, but if you keep dragging them in the middle, eventually they will all go in there. If you want to make this even easier, you can actually sift this, but it would make me use another bowl, and I don't want to clean another bowl. I already do so many damn dishes, but that would be up to you. It would make it even easier to mix through, because a lot of the PB Fit or PB2 has a lot of chunks in it, and even with me mixing it, there's still a lot of little chunks that I have to get out while I mix it here. All right, this is smooth, so we'll get in our second part here. Our first one would have looked like pure liquid, essentially, a thicker liquid. Now we're starting to get to the point where it's a very thick liquid, okay? Our second mix is done here. I'm gonna wipe off the whisk, and for this last one, we need to use the spatula, or else everything just gets stuck in the middle of the whisk because it gets so thick. So I will do that, and we will switch over in just a second. Now we got our last part in here, and we are going to just mix it in, and we are essentially done at that point. If you've made my first cookie dough, this one is much thicker than the first one. Much thicker. I tried to get the texture a little more to the point where it does seem more like cookie dough, but don't get me wrong, it's not as firm as regular cookie dough, but it for sure tastes better than the version at the store. Now, what I do to try to get the chunks out on this is I spread it along the whole side here. And when you're spreading it, it's really pushing down any of those chunks. And then I go along the side and I bring it all back to the middle. Mix it all together, and then I do that like 3, 4, 5 times depending how it's looking. And once it's pretty much smooth, I get it into a container. And once it is in the fridge, even if there is small little chunks, everything will blend together as it sits in the fridge and cools. We have our dough here looking absolutely gorgeous, but there's one more thing that we can do to make it even better. Now, we're going to take 4 grams of our real peanut butter and weigh it out in like a little petri dish or small little bowl. And we will throw this in the microwave for about 15-20 seconds until it's fully melted. Our peanut butter is nice and melty, and I take a little bit on the spatula and I just try to drip it across evenly on the top of the cookie dough. Now, it might not seem like that much, but essentially in every single bite that you take, you will get peanut butter goodness and the real peanut butter hitting your taste buds, and you literally can't beat it. I cannot wait to start getting tagged on Instagram with you guys trying this, because I know you guys will absolutely love it. And just like my first cookie dough, this one can be eaten now. As you can see, it doesn't just drop off. If you let it hang long enough, it will, but it is much thicker than the first one. You get hit with peanut butter right away. There's real peanut butter in this and PB Fit. We find that balance to make it super tasty, yet lower in calories. And I just guarantee you guys are gonna love it. I cannot wait for you to try it. For 2 pieces of Reese's cookie dough, you get 38 grams or 160 calories, 7 fat, 23 carb, and 2 protein. When compared to mine, for the same amount of calories, you get 2/3 more dough or 62 grams, and then 6 fat, 20 carb, and over 14 grams of protein. It's a no-brainer. And let's say you wanna go absolutely ham and have a full meal's worth of cookie dough. For 500 calories or 193 grams of the cookie dough, you get 19 fat, 62 carb, which is mostly net carbs, should I say, and over 44 grams of protein. You can binge on cookie dough and still have it in your diet, use it as a meal, and help you get to the muscle gains and fat loss achievements that you want. Come on. And I will put this cookie dough next to the real Reese's peanut butter cookie dough any day of the week, and I can guarantee that this one will win 10 out of 10 times. I am sure most of you are wondering if you can just use PB Fit to save on calories, and I would say absolutely not. It's going to completely mess up the wet to dry ratio, and even if you add more wet ingredients, you are not going to get that same peanut butter taste, not even close. Trust me, I tried to use no peanut butter or no real peanut butter in the recipe, and it just wasn't the same. So when you use it this way, it will taste to perfection. You won't even be able to tell PB Fit is in there. It'll taste like straight up peanut butter and cookie dough combined. I don't blame you if you want to eat this right away. It is absolutely delicious, but the flavors combine and it tastes the best after 24 hours. Anyone that has left the regular cookie dough that I made a few months back in the fridge for 24 hours said I didn't trust that it would taste any better because it already tasted great, and they were surprised at that it even tasted better than when they first initially tried it. I have 2 or 3 recipes almost completed, so stay tuned. Tag me on Instagram if you make any of my recipes. Check out the Power 13 cookbook and like this video to support the channel. But until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.